Well, hi everyone. I am so excited that you have chosen to join us again today. We are here with the fabulous, um, Lois Unger. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Women Like Me in Stories and in Business. And Lois does stories, and she's got tons of business stuff on the go. So I cannot wait for you to hear about her. I find her so encouraging. She has not let the world get her down. And I'm just gonna let Lois tell you a little bit about herself. So thank you for being here. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for having me. It's a true pleasure, and I'm really excited. Yeah, just before when we were chatting and before recording, and you were mentioning about saying my age and so forth, and I'm happy to. I'm 63 at the moment, and I got into like modeling and acting only like within the last 5 years. I always say that I was Virgin Mary like in grade 3, right? I didn't have any lines, and so that's many years ago. So that was fun, like in high school or stuff like that. But it never really occurred to me to be even in this genre at all. I mean, I had a camera in hand for like since I've been a teenager. So I guess that was my arts for many years. And so then I worked, my usual 9 to 5 for 40 some years until, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, 10, 15 years. And I don't know I really don't know. I cannot pinpoint it one day how it even came about, how that thought process even came about it. I just thought it was something that I would enjoy.
Oh.
And so of course my confidence level had changed as well. And because for years I was and not that this has anything to do with it, but it did for me, maybe not for others. Like I reduced like a lot of my body weight. And so I think, and for health reasons as well, not, because we thought, so that then of course I felt better. I had more energy. I could do things, I thought, I was kind of almost unstoppable. And so then it just started from there, just exploring different things in my life and things I like to do. And so, yeah, and it just became more fun. Like, what else can I do, and what can I get into? And so I guess I have my mom's traits where I'm kind of curious about a lot of things, like a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I just do not find time long, or I don't get bored or anything like that. So
What gave you so you had your career where you were doing your 9 to 5, and then
yeah.
about 10, 15 years ago, did you stop doing that, or did you just like what caused you to just jump and move forward?
I don't know. I had it coming, and I was thinking about it in my mind. I thought, I don't know, this 9 to 5, because that really literally is all I was doing. I really did not do other hobbies or anything. That is literally what I just did,
Yeah.
at that time, watch TV, read, really nothing like that. And so, I kind of planned it I thought I'm just going to retire. And, honestly, I had nothing on the horizon. I had no other job. I had nothing else, but I did have my camera, and that was my best friend. And so I've basically driven my whole province and then some. I have a lot, when I say a lot, of photos.
Yeah. But you went into modeling.
I did. This was about 5 years ago. So of
Wow.
course and then I started also volunteering like at our local theaters and in, in some of the shows and stuff like that. And so that really got me going. And especially, if they had dance recitals and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just all in that whole circle of people. And so then I thought, modeling, yeah, that sounds kind of fun. I wouldn't have a problem being on stage or nothing like that. That it just didn't bother me. And so I did see an ad, and we just like, it was just an instant clique, I guess. And I
Yeah.
think I've been probably her oldest client, so to speak, which, and so the words I remember were, there is room for everyone. And, I just,
Mhm.
that just, I don't know, it just brought tears to my eyes actually, because I thought, this is what I love. Like no one is excluded, and they still aren't. And that is something that when I go somewhere or something, I like to see that as well, that there is room for everyone. So it doesn't matter, what race or your body size or, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that is what I love. And, I will say, I have gone to a lot of like photo shoots, and I've been in, like, a couple of years ago, there was like the Women's World show here. And I know you're in a different province than we are, but
Yeah.
there's been trade shows that I've been on the runway for, or fundraisers and so forth and so on. And so, and of course, I'm pretty well the oldest, and we're going to call it a level. I've seen other people call their ages not how old, it's you're level 50 or level 60 or something, and I
Oh,
love that.
I love it too. That's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it just does not bother me. And because everyone is so welcoming. Like there's 20-year-olds and there's, 40-year-old, like, a lot of them, of course,
Yes.
are in the younger genre, but it is just wonderful. And no one is, oh, what are you doing here? Or, why are you here? And everyone has a
Yeah.
place, and we all work together. And so that's been my experience.
Yes.
And I just love that. Like this last weekend I was I'm this summer, or this year, actually, I've been in a lot of films, commercials. And so I was one in just this last weekend. So it was in a small town. It was going to be in a little church. And of course, I was like totally in love with that. And I was going to be part of the town folk and stuff. And, and I hadn't met anyone yet. I knew like who the director was, and everybody is just so welcoming. And suddenly they were like, "Oh, you're part of the choir, and so you're going to be up on the front, and you're going to be filmed." And so so this is where the confidence level as well, right?
Yes.
You're not going to be like, "Ooh, I can't do that," or I can't. I'm looking at it where, oh wow, I get to do that as well. I got to do that. That was another thing, an unexpected thing. And that's often in this film and modeling, acting and stuff, there is a lot of unexpected sometimes, but I'm really growing with it, and I'm really starting to love it, because I am a schedule person. Like I like that part too, but I'm really liking sometimes, oh, we're going to just do that. We're going to do that. And then I guess another thing is where they had like costumes and stuff. And this is just one example for us to wear. And so, of course, they were a lot smaller size. And I wasn't the only one where they didn't fit. But so they just pinned it in the back, or they put a shawl over. And so maybe years ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, or I'm so this, or I'm not good enough. And I just went with it, and I'm like, oh, this is how it is, and no one's going to see that, and it's wonderful to be here, and the people I was with, and no one even, like, no one says like, hey, it's pinned, it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that. I just
like
love that. So, Lois, can I ask you do you have an agent? How do you get these positions, or are you just in the know, or what? How do you do that?
well, I will tell you that I should probably be the one, shooing to people, because I'm if you ever need anything researched, or
Yeah.
if you need to know about something, like, I'm your girl, because I will, like, I will admit I'm on the computer a lot, or on my phone, which is my computer. But I feel I'm working, and I'm connecting, and I'm always meeting people, or I'm answering, and suddenly there's, and you know how it goes. It's maybe only on stories. So that means it's only available for like 20 some hours. And so if you can see things right away and answer within the day, I always feel that is a better procedure, a better policy to go with, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah. And also each time I'm at one of these, film sets or modeling, or I'm meeting all kinds of people, like who will tell me, and we'll chat, and they'll say, oh, this is another website, or this is another thing you can do to get out there, or this is another thing you can sign up to, or it's amazing. It's really amazing. And so I've been part of a couple smaller films, and some of them are not paid. I'm volunteering,
Yeah.
and which is totally fine.
Yeah.
And I've also been a part of, there's 3 this year so far that like they will be out next year, but one will be on a network, like on TV, and another one actually based out of New Zealand, and it was shot in Regina. It's incredible.
That is incredible. Well, good for you. What I really love about you, Lois, is that you talk about your 9 to 5, and I basically was watching TV, scrolling the internet, not really living life. And I think so many of us do that. And also, as we get older, I think we think, well, what could we do? I'm older now. What could I possibly do? Oh, I couldn't model. I couldn't do TV. I couldn't, end up in film or write a book or any of that. And you're here to say, absolutely, yes, you can.
Yes, you are so right. You are so right. And of course, as some of the viewers know, that you've been so generous, and I, like, 3 times this year, I've been a co-author with you 3 times. I mean, that is even more than I can fathom. Like this, what I about that is, there's a saying, I think, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right.
Absolutely. And oh my goodness. And, absolutely. Yes.
And I'm not trying to say, that I have that perfect life and that I'm thinking, that positivity, 24/7, because other things come into my thought process too. And another thing I will say for me is, and this might sound super weird to some, but I'm no expert on this, but this has been my experience, is like my food choices and the energy level of what some of them will give me or what they will take away. And also for me is my thought process. Like it is really, like robbing, some of and that would be time. And again, you're going to go through those. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. What am I going to write about? And who's going to want me? And, I couldn't sign up for that. And
I think it's, and I think, the diet and that kind of thing, of course, as we get older, I'm even finding myself, there's certain foods I can't eat. If my energy level has certainly dropped, but I think as we get older, self-care becomes more important, right?
I like the word self-care. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, like we all know it, we just don't know the timing, but let's, and I will say and I still have to work on it today, because I am more often a planner. So being in the moment sometimes is a little tougher than, because it is harder, like, to live in the moment, right? Sometimes. And it's nice to, look ahead and plan and stuff like that. And so, I have to find my own balance as well. Yes, so it's not like a perfect world or anything out there as well.
No, for sure. And I think, we all live in the real world, and we're all going to have real world problems. And we're going to have conflicts, and we're going to have issues with this and that. And you're absolutely right. There's nothing perfect, but I think too, because I can relate to you. I had a government job years ago, and I remember I looked around the room and I thought, I don't want to be here in 20 years. Like, I don't want to put in 20 years of my life here. And so then I started searching for something more fulfilling for me. And so, and there's nothing wrong with having a career for that long. I ended up in a career where I was there for 34 years. And I retired from that this year. So there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to be happy. You can't be in your 20-year or 10-year, like, life's too short if you're, and then even for me, like, when I was all of this I've been planning since 2016, because I knew I was eventually going to retire, and I don't want to stop doing. I want to have fun and meet awesome people like you, and just and it just and my what I'm doing now, which is Women Like Me, it just evolved.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. You know what? It's because that is how it has actually gone because I try to connect like every day with people and, that are in my world, so to speak. Right.
Yes.
And so, you do that and you're going to, you're going to feel better and you're just going to want to do those kind of things. And then suddenly there's nothing on my horizon. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then suddenly, you're getting another email and, and there's opportunities again and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I did not know. This is how naive I probably am in a lot of areas too. I'm sure a lot of people know Coca Rocha. Like she's one of the top models like in the
Oh,
world, I
oh,
think. Well, I saw a post from another person, and yes, definitely, she's a top model. And I would have thought, well, I don't know if she'll see this someday or not. And she was probably maybe as old as I was, or a little younger. She seems to be maybe in her 30s or so. But anyway, she holds a modeling camp, and you can either do it in person or do it online. And so next year I have a bunch of things that I definitely want to go. I've emailed them and made the connection. Again, they're assuring me this is for all ages. And quite frankly, I wouldn't even care. I'm the oldest one. That's fine.
yes. Oh, exactly.
It's,
Oh, well, I hope that you do that. That sounds amazing.
yeah,
It
yeah.
just help you to level up.
Oh, totally,
Yeah.
totally. Because
Yeah.
she would just. I mean, I'm not putting her, oh, I don't know, as my idol or anything, but I mean, she's just one person, right? Like, there's plenty out there that will do things for, like, I mean, you have to still do the work. Like,
Of
no
course
one's
you
going to
do.
do it for you, but
Of
you can
course.
learn. You can learn from
Yes.
these places.
And
And
that's what
I
we
mean,
should. Well, and
I
we
went
should be
to,
learning from those people because they've done it.
they've
So,
done it. And I
right?
guess that's what I like as well is to get mentorship from those types of folks that have actually lived it and done it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, I would like to just really switch our conversation around a little bit, but I just want to let everybody know that, as you said, Lois, Lois has been in a few of the Women Like Me books. And
Mhm.
I just want to say that she wrote in Dreams That Speak, The Power of Women's Dreams, which we just launched on the weekend. And we were number 1 in the dreams and mental health category. And we ended up in number 3 in dreams category. So Lois is a best-selling author as well. I just want to put that out there for her. And the other thing I would like to mention is that she wrote a chapter of her life in a chapter book. This one is Transforming Pain into Wisdom and Love. And she is in the first chapter. And I love her title, I Will Wait, Create Your Own Unique Vision to Emerge as a Queen. Oh, I love it. As a queen. I just love it. So, not only are you doing modeling and you got yourself in some films and some commercials, but you're also writing books. I mean, you're just like, it's like you're on a rocket ship and you're just zooming.
Oh, you are just a gem. I mean, that the writing part has probably been a part of me for some time. I've done, a few little things and back in high school, we didn't have internet and so forth, but we had like a little newspaper and I was in charge of that. So if I think back to some of those little things, right? I wasn't tuning in as properly as I know how to do now, like to the universe, when something is out there and nudging at me. And but if I think about that now, and even back in my day, we had the Sears and the Eaton's catalogs,
Yes.
and I wouldn't order a darn thing, but man, I could not wait. And it would be around this time that the winter ones would come out, or summer. I don't even
Yeah.
know. But I would just sit there for hours and look at the fashions and look at the colors so when I'm thinking about that, back when, I was even 8, 10, 15, like a young person, yeah, somewhere in there, it was nudging at me, like that was maybe going to, become part of my life someday. And the other beauty about, even about being an author, modeling or acting, being in films, commercials is you can write about yourself, but you can also write, about, a little bit, about how things have gone, but also like acting or modeling. Sometimes you get to be someone you normally aren't. Like, when you actually look at me on an everyday basis, I'm in my gardening clothes, or, I'm not wearing, what you would on the runway, that type of stuff, like 24/7. And that's what I love. I love all the variations of it, of that life, because maybe because I was doing that 9 to 5, and I have a flexible time now, so it just all fits together really well. So yeah.
I just love it. I just love it. You're really an inspiration to women, especially ladies who are at the age or at that stage of retirement, not sure what to do, or worse, the kids have left the nest. Now
Mhm,
what?
mhm.
Now what do I do? Those kinds of things, and people can get stuck. And I always see people that are stuck, and I think it's so sad because you're living the same month over and over, the same year over and over, the same
Mhm.
5 years over and over. And there really is so much more out there. But we have to have the confidence, the courage to step out of our
Yeah,
shells
yeah.
and go for it. And part of that is what you said, because I'm sure in the beginning you were uneasy.
Sometimes I'm learning each time that I'm being called for whatever it is, oh yeah, they wanted that. I should have brought that, or this is going to change, and I guess the other thing is the most important, I think, is the belief. Can
Yeah.
you believe it? Can you believe it that I can do this? Can you believe it that I can say those lines, or that I can act this way, or that I can do this, and if you can convince that other person that you are that best person, you're going to convince yourself. And
Yes.
it's just going to evolve, like you say, into
Yes.
so many things that you weren't maybe even aware of,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
you really even like.
What I love about us ladies as we get on in years is that we have stuff there. Maybe
Yeah.
we don't realize it, but we have stuff there. I know when I was years ago, I was doing a lot of public speaking and I had to stop because my finances were tough. I was a single mom, and I thought, I can't continue to do everything because I'm not doing anything right. Put my dream aside to earn a living to support my kids, and that's fine. But I always knew in the back of my head, I'm going to
Yeah.
pick that up again. I'll pick that up.
Yes.
I'm not going to leave it. And so how many of us have those,
Hmm. Hmm.
something there
Yeah.
that is just waiting for us to grab it and run with it again.
Yeah.
And and
It is.
and, and at a time when we don't have so many constraints on us in terms of our time, that kind of thing. Like, we have the freedom to do the things that maybe we didn't have the freedom to do when we were younger because we were raising families and had to earn a living to, or whatever it was. I think
No. You're.
it's just I just want everybody to know that. And that's why one of the reasons I just wanted you to come on, because
Yeah.
I think that you're such an inspiration.
You're totally right on that. Is where, I think now, like, it's our time. Like, I mean, and it's okay to be a little selfish, with your time, because to go and do whatever it is that you love. Like, if there was a nudge on, I don't know, whatever that you think you might like. Also, what for me is, I always thought, and maybe others too, oh my gosh, I'm working my 9 to 5 and that is going to be forever, until you're, 70 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't have to be. And let's just say I didn't want to do, some of these things, tomorrow or something. It's okay. Maybe, I'm going to pick up something else. And so you don't have to feel like you're a failure. Like, you can try this and it's okay to say, that wasn't for me. And so that's another thing that for me anyway, as well, is where you will get to know yourself,
Yes.
what you like, what you're going to say yes to, what you're going to say no to, and maybe, and you're going to go from there. And I think it'll be more rewarding, and your life, I don't know, for me anyway, you will just, I don't know, you just will connect to people or even connect with yourself, and you won't mind, when I'm doing a road trip, let's say, I rarely, well, every once in a while, but I often just have it quiet because I just want to see the sunrise or the sunset, or like the other night I was coming home and I could just see from horizon to horizon. It was like in our prairies, and it was just absolutely magical. And I grew up in the country, but of course I'm not in the country now. I'm in the city, and so those types of treasure moments, is like, just take them and
Yes.
just hold on to them, because it is so precious. It really is.
Oh, well, oh, well, thank you, Lois. I just feel that I know there's going to be some ladies out there that are going to hear this, and they're going to be inspired by you to step up and take that next phase. We're not, it's just a phase of life, that a different
Mhm.
phase we go into, and
Yeah.
and what do you want to do with that phase? And think of all your gifts and everything from childhood till now, and what can you take from that? And the internet is so amazing because you can reach so many people, you can sell things online, so many beautiful things, and just like you, research and connect out with people.
Yeah. And actually, like with my photography, like, I make greeting cards and postcards and that kind of thing. And I have them like in a few shops in the province. And, of course, when I kind of started that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get everywhere. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
It's a step-by-step process. And once you have it in one place, and then you can say, oh, I've got it in there. And then the next place will trust, what you're doing, or, that your work is good enough, and things like that. And the same goes, with anything else, because I do voiceover ads for a local radio station here. And with almost anything, and that's, I guess, another thing. You can gauge how far you want to go. If you want to do every day, if you only want to do it, whatever it is that you really love to do or that you want to try. And that's the beauty that I like as well. And I may not sign up for everything that I see out there, because maybe it's too far away, or it just doesn't fit into my schedule, or in the end, it's kind of like, maybe just not worth my time because I'm waiting on something else or whatever. So there's that time balance as well and stuff. The internet is certainly our friend if you like it. And I do. I love computers, and I love, seeing what's out there and connecting. And I've heard this line where my body is my business, meaning not, like, oh, it's my business, but it's kind of like your business, like,
Yes.
where, what do you want to do out there, and with how do you feel, like,
Right.
like there's self-care and so forth, like, so there's a lot to it.
Yes.
And so it shows, right? It whether what kind of foods you eat sometimes and so forth. I mean, it will show in your skin and in your demeanor, and how
Yes.
you're acting, and there's just a lot to
Yes.
it. But there's a lot of things out there, and try it now, and even writing. And you've been so generous where you will even, I mean, I did a poetry this last time, and I want to get more into that. And last time, the other book was, and you have such a variety of chances for us to be involved. And so if anyone has a problem, what to write, and so you're mentoring people, like, helping them. And so that is another thing. Like, if anyone has, like, anything at all, just the way that you support support women. That is just a start already right there. If anyone has anything that they want to start with, I think anyway.
Oh, well, thank you. That's my goal. My goal is to help and stop generational trauma and help women get their stories out and help lift them up however I can. Yeah, and that's the direction I went, and I feel it, and I know I'm on my right path,
Oh,
and I'm
you
just
are.
happy that I'm doing something, not just sitting in front of my television set and
Hmm.
living
Yeah.
out my days
Yeah.
that way. So that's what I hope for everybody out there. I hope that we've been able to encourage them, and that they'll be able to step out of their fear or their shells. And
Mhm.
if anybody wants to reach out to Lois, or if somebody wants to reach out to me, we're all happy to chat with you and
Absolutely.
give you a helping hand along the way as well.
Mhm.
And Lois, in closing, do you want to give what's your number one piece of advice that you would like to give anybody that's sitting and listening to us right now or
Oh, wow.
watching?
Number one, wow, is I think the belief, that I can do it is which will bring you the confidence level. And when you believe you can, one of the first books that I read was by Shatki Duane, and I think she's passed on now. And I don't remember her, but it was a lot of I am statements.
Oh,
I am worthy. I am good enough. I am, and that's what got me into more of that positive thinking. And so I feel once you get into that realm, it's like the universe will just listen to you, whatever the universe is to you. And if you need to listen to it, right? Because there are
yes.
opportunities out there that are knocking, and sometimes we just don't see it or whatever. And take
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes every single day, quiet time, whatever you want to do, whether you want to lie down or sit there or go for a drive or whatever, because I do that every single day. I have to, because I have to refocus my thoughts and
Absolutely.
just, and just, okay, what's going to be my next step? Or maybe I had a quick decision I needed to make, so I need just a quiet time just to just focus on whatever that is, or
Yes.
focus on nothing,
Yep.
just, kind of rejuvenate. Right.
Yeah.
And there's no selfishness about that. Like
Oh,
it's that self-care, and you deserve that. So
yes.
yeah, we're deserving of that all.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And I love the I am statements. I love affirmations, and I use them myself all the time.
Yeah.
When I was fixing myself years ago, when I was not super positive and my self-esteem was down, I
Yeah.
had statements everywhere, because it's just
Mhm.
because you need to change your mindset, and you're not going to change it without feeding it with good stuff, so that you
No.
can switch the bad stuff to the good stuff. And the
Yeah.
good stuff, the more good you put in, there's only so much room in there. So
And
the bad
it,
stuff's got to go out. Yeah.
so right. And you've got to have it in your face all the time.
Yes. Yes.
I find anyway,
Yeah.
because, reading maybe a chapter of, some positive, whatever it is, something that will, lighten you up, or something that you're learning, or, something.
Yeah.
And, because we need to always remind ourselves, because
Yes.
we can be our own worst critic. And no one even has to tell us that we're not good enough. We will just think it ourselves. And so we've
Yes.
got to always, um, and I find too, for me, is where sometimes I have not had anyone, and I still don't sometimes, like, hey, you're doing a good job, or yeah, you should go for that. A lot of it is on my own. And I don't mind that. I've been an independent person since I was a teenager. And so you can get used to that, and
Yes.
that's okay. It's actually okay,
Yes.
because in the end, that's what you've got, is
Yes.
yourself. Like
Oh, yes.
you've got to do it yourself. And
You know
I
what?
mean,
That's all any of us have got
mhm,
at the
yeah,
end of the day, is ourselves. you know,
What a gift,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Like we're all treasures, like we're all
yes,
wonderful. So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we shouldn't feel bad about it at all. Like I mean, we feel good about it, I think.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Lois. Thank you so much, Fabulous. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. And thank you all for either watching on YouTube or listening, wherever you listen to your podcast. We appreciate it. And we will see you again soon.